Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Child Care Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hello and welcome. You are tuned in to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I am Erica Sacoccio, your host for the day, and we're so excited that you are here. I wanted to just give a shout out before we dive into today's episode. I want to say a big hello to our friends in Richmond, Texas, San Diego, California, East Lansing, Michigan, Hampstead, New York, Athens, Alabama, and Falmouth, Maine. You guys are at the top of my listening list this week, and I want to let you know I see you. Thank you so much if you're tuning day after day. And if you are new to our show, welcome to our community. The people here are pretty great. So, I just took a half-day virtual conference last week, and one of the topics that they talked about was the whole leadership framework, which I thought was so my jam. I loved it. I loved all the aspects of it. So we're not going to talk about that document today, and I'm probably going to reach out to the creators of that and see if we can get them on the show to really dig into that. And if you haven't checked it out yet, again, it's the whole leadership framework. Check it out. You will definitely be like, no wonder why I have to learn so much about leadership. So today we're just going to talk about one little teeny part of that amazing framework. We're going to talk about organizational climate. And we know we need a positive one. And it's not just a nice to have, it's the strategic driver for success. One of my favorite quotes by Simon Sinek is, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. And for those of you who know me, know that that is 100% where I live. Today, we're going to talk about how administrators can shape an environment that creates trust, respect, and collaboration. And we want to make sure that we empower every team member to excel. So we're going to first talk about what are we even talking about when we say organizational climate. You love that Rhode Island accent that I have? Organizational, I cannot talk today. Organizational, there we go, climate definition. What is it? So an organizational climate is really when we're just referring to the atmosphere of the workplace, like how employees perceive their environment. Hey, it's Erica here, and I've got something super exciting to share with you. If you're in the world of early childhood education, you cannot miss the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. And I'm not just saying that. Trust me, this is where the magic happens. Over the course of 3 days, we're all about learning, connecting, and reigniting that spark that brought you into the field in the first place. And let me tell you, this conference is packed with goodness. Day one is all about leadership. We've got 5 incredible presenters who will walk you through the business side of running your program. Plus, it's more intimate, a retreat-style day with only 80 administrators, so you'll get tons of face time and an opportunity to connect. And to close out the day, a fun, hilarious comedy show and dinner with Jay Yoder from the Board Teacher Comedy Tour. He graces the stages all over the country. Day 2 is a day full-blown conference with 50 vendors, 14 amazing speakers, plus 2, not 1, but 2 keynote addresses that will leave your head full of fresh ideas. Oh, and did I mention, you can also get a free professional headshot. You can even hop on an ECE podcast and share your expertise with the world. So much fun packed into one day. And then day 3, you get to relax. We're heading over to Urban Sweat, where you can treat yourself however you want. Whether you want to unwind in a Himalayan salt cave, you want to get into a yoga class, or just enjoy a relaxing massage, you will leave totally recharged. You can book your services directly with Rafa and pick exactly what you need. So are you in? Don't miss out 3 days of empowerment, inspiration, and just pure connection with your ECE community. I can't wait to see you there. So let's do this. Links below. See you soon. Or the interactions within it. In a positive organizational climate, it's essential because it affects how employees feel about their work, how they feel about their team members, and sometimes even how they feel about you. A positive climate promotes high morale. We know it also fosters creativity, and it definitely reduces stress. Now, I don't know about you, but I love reducing stress for my team and myself. And when we do that, we know it will increase the overall satisfaction and productivity in your center. So, when I say climate, what's the difference between climate and culture? Well, organizational culture, it's deeper. It's that long standing set of shared values and beliefs and the norms that define your organization's climate. It's more immediate, that reflects the mood of the environment that employees experience daily. So we know sometimes if one or two people are in a bad mood in your center, it can affect, and it often does affect others in the center. So, that is something the mood can sometimes change day to day, but the climate is usually pretty consistent, and it's that long term that kind of holds everything together. Some of the things that I want to talk about that might not just the bad mood of somebody, but climate can change very rapidly through management decisions, like when you ask somebody to go to a different classroom because 3 teachers called out. It also could be your leadership style and the way that you approach your team. Because if you're stressed, right, and you go into a room, you're like, well, I need you to move because Susie called out. And then they're like, oh, not again. And then you're mad. Oh, why you give me such a hard time? We just got to do what we got to do, right? You have to understand that you have to have some empathy around that. You have to finesse that a little bit. And when you do, when you can understand why they don't like to move the room or why they don't like to have other kids from other classrooms, again, they're not trying to give you a hard time. Your teachers are just letting you know that it's not their favorite thing to do. It interferes with their daily routines and the routines of the kids in their care. So, that's something you have to keep in mind. And in your employee interactions with each other, while culture takes a little bit longer to shift, right? That doesn't change overnight. But sometimes the mood can. Sometimes it changes hour by hour. Let's tell the truth, right? Some key traits for positive organizational climates: open communication. When you have open lines of communication, we know that that's essential for building trust. And of course, transparency. Employees need to feel that they can speak up without fear of reprisal. This includes both that formal communication channels such as meetings and reports and informal ones like casual check-ins and open door policies. Leaders should be approachable and listen actively to employee concerns and feedback. Now, that doesn't mean when you listen, it doesn't mean that you are a genie in a bottle and every wish that they have is your command. But you do have to take them into consideration as much as possible because we know when we do that, we get better results. It also helps build that trust. Trust is the foundation for a positive organizational climate. When employees trust their leaders and their peers, they are more likely to collaborate or take initiative or even contribute ideas. And transparency means that the leaders provide employees with information that they need to understand the organization's decisions and how their roles fit to meet the broader goals. And I have heard, unfortunately, leaders say, well, they should just do what I ask them to do it. And some of to an extent. But I do think that when people understand why we're doing things and their part in it, it makes it a little bit more digestible. And sometimes you may end up finding a hero where once they understand why they're doing it, they may take that on with quite a bit of zest. So, I think being transparent, and I've seen that time and time again. Also, mutual respect is so important and it goes a long way. You want to make sure that you have a respectful environment that's free of discrimination, bias, and microaggressions. And gosh, The passive aggressive stuff that has happened in the last 3 or 4 years is crazy. You need to make sure that that is not happening at your center. Leaders should model respectful behaviors, and policies should encourage inclusivity. When employees feel respected, they're more motivated to contribute, which then leads to higher job satisfaction. And guess what? Less staff turnover. Isn't that nice? Now, when we have less staff turnover and people come to work and they feel great, it also allows us to have better work-life cohesiveness. I'm not going to say balance, because I think that's an illusion, but cohesiveness. A positive climate recognizes the importance of work-life cohesiveness, mental health of your staff, and overall well-being. And now I want you to think about something for a minute. I think oftentimes when you don't take this into consideration, or you're on the other end of the scale, and that's all you do is take everyone else's needs into consideration above your own, you really have to make sure that you take care of yourself as well. Leaders can foster this balance by promoting flexible work schedules. Maybe you do a 4-day work week so you don't have to worry about people calling out, right? Or providing wellness programs. Maybe during lunch break, some folks get together and go for a walk. Or on a Saturday, you guys have a walking club. Or go to yoga together. Do some things that promote wellness. Stock up your break areas with fresh fruit and water. Maybe, have a Crystal Light bar or a, meal bar or infused water, those types of things, especially as we start heading in to the warmer weather. We really want to make sure that our staff feel good. And the warmer weather, of course, is going to encourage people to call out because it's nice out. So again, thinking about flexible schedules. Maybe if somebody's always a closer, maybe you let them alternate once a week and let them do an opening shift and let an opener sleep in and let them do a night shift. Get creative. I want you to make sure that your employees feel empowered to manage their personal and their professional lives without judgment. And recognition and celebration is another great way to really have a fantastic organizational climate. Employees need to feel that their contributions are recognized. This can be through formal awards, maybe do an awards banquet. Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up next month. Week of the Young Child is coming up. Sorry, Teacher Appreciation is May. But Week of the Young Child is in April. That's coming up. That's a great time to recognize the work that your teachers are doing and throw some celebrations. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a minute right this second. I want to give a shout out to Miss Denise, Miss Leah, Miss Sheena, Miss Sherry. I've had 4 staff in less than 30 days either renew or earn a CDA. So shout out to my team. Keep going. I love you all. You do an amazing work. But, that's something you should be doing. Leaders should be regularly acknowledging individual and team achievements, whether it's through shout outs in meetings, thank you notes, annual award programs, or just regular recognition. It boosts morale and motivation. I just went to one of my locations yesterday, actually, and I walked into the bathroom, and in the bathroom, there's a mirror above where the staff wash their hands. And the director had put a Post-it pack and a marker. And everybody started leaving positive notes to each other all over the mirror. And it was amazing. It was so beautiful. People were just writing, thank you for this, or I love when you did that. And the vibe in that place yesterday was like unicorns and rainbows. So something as simple as that didn't take anything other than a little bit of effort and a little bit of love. And that's how you do it. That's how you build that amazing, amazing climate. Administrator leaders, you play such an important role in shaping that climate by making sure that positive behaviors get recognized, leading with integrity, leading with empathy and humility. These things set the example for how others should lead. Leaders show respect. We communicate openly and also show vulnerability. You don't know everything as the leader, and it's okay to say sometimes, you know what, I'm really struggling in this area. What do you guys think? How can we come together as a team and fix this, right? I think you need to create an environment where your employees feel safe in doing so and doing the same. Make sure you're promoting inclusivity and collaboration. Sometimes leaders tend to have some favorites. You want to make sure everyone's voice is heard, regardless of their position or background. And some of the best ideas, I have to say, that I have come across come from folks that are in the classrooms or even my van drivers who pick up our after school kids. Sometimes it's my parent board. So again, be humble enough to know that you don't know everything. Perspectives from other people matter, and create opportunities to collaborate across teams, across departments. And if you have multiple schools, across locations. I think when you encourage diverse perspectives, you ensure that all employees have an equal chance to contribute to decisions. And make sure you use different models, because if it's always at a meeting where you ask people to speak up, there are some people who are shy and then others who will take over the entire conversation. And that's a skill that we want to work on, right? We want to make sure that if somebody's quieter, maybe before the meeting, we pass out some papers and ask for feedback there, where they don't even have to put their name. And then you can read them throughout the meeting, or, however you're planning on doing your communications. And I think when you involve diverse teams in problem solving, it absolutely improves the overall climate and also invokes innovation. And I would say check yourself too to see where you are with your emotional intelligence, because a leader's ability to understand and respond to the emotional needs of their employees fosters trust and psychological safety. And right now, your staff need you to have a very high EQ. You'll have to be aware of your own emotions as well and how those affect others. And using that awareness can guide interactions and decision making. Empathetic leaders are seen as approachable and supportive, and they create climates where employees feel cared and valued for. The other thing, I had said, innovation. I love innovation and I love risk taking. And when you have that positive organizational climate, your employees should feel safe to take calculated risks and propose new ideas without fear, without punishment. And administrative leaders can encourage this by showing support of new ideas. Acknowledging mistakes are part of the learning process. I know I make mistakes all of the time. Do not pretend to be perfect. And I think maintaining a positive outlook in the face of setbacks. And I have to tell you, there are weeks that setbacks can push us to the limit. I know I've had one of those weeks very recently where, some days you're like, I'm ready to turn in the keys. I am done with this. But you go to sleep and you wake up and it's a new day and you keep moving forward. But I think it's good to try new things, because you may uncover just the thing you were looking for and you didn't even know you needed. Now, some practical strategies for building positive climate would be feedback loops. Make sure that you're doing that. You also want to have some employee engagement activities, things like team building exercises or social events, wellness programs. All these things foster relationships among your employees. They increase morale and they reinforce a positive organizational climate that we know that we all need. Leaders should actively support and participate in these activities to show they value employee well-being and engagement. And it was so funny. I was watching YouTube last night, and I love shark shows. I used to watch Jacques Cousteau with my grandpa when I was really young, and he was a butcher, but he also loved to fish, and this made me have like this fascination for fish. And living in New England, of course, we all love Jaws and watch Jaws. Grew up in 1970, aging myself, but I love Jaws. So anyway, what does any of this have to do with anything I'm talking about? So I was watching YouTube last night, and they showed a trailer for Meg 3. And I was like, oh my God, it's coming out this summer. I feel like I want to take my staff to go see the Meg 3. I know that sounds silly, but you know what? It's a little comical, it has some jump scares. It's really more funny than anything. But I think having a good laugh with my team is a great way to build morale. It's a great way to get out in public, out of the school, and just do some fun things together. So, if you're in Rhode Island, you want to join us to go see Meg 3 this summer, let me know. You can text the show. If you're not in Rhode Island, take your own team to go see Meg 3. Maybe we'll talk about it on one of our episodes. Um, so those are some of my thoughts. I think, being transparent again, have an open dialogue and good conflict resolution. Leaders should really create an open forum for their employees to discuss challenges and voice their concerns and resolve conflicts before they escalate. Now, nobody likes when nobody is talking to each other. That's the worst environment you can ever have in a child care setting. So you could do this at regular team meetings. You can have town halls. You can have anonymous surveys. Having a clear, fair process for conflict resolution ensures that any issues are addressed swiftly and equitably. And you know what? If you have an HR department, now I know some of us do, some of us don't. HR should be out on the floor visiting folks once in a while, right? I know, majority of the stuff is hiring, training folks, doing paperwork, calling in payroll. But, I feel like if your HR team is super engaged and can help with some of this, it adds that extra layer where people feel like they can talk to somebody, especially if the problem is with you and you're their leader. It's a little harder for them to talk to you, right? Even if you're the best leader in the world, maybe they don't want to hurt your feelings because they really like you, right? So when you have an HR person, that really is a nice buffer. So tip of the day, get an HR person. Um, and mentorship, I think too, and development opportunities really can help when you're putting together a climate where you want people to stay. So offer a mentorship program or even cohorts. I mentioned earlier that I had a team of 4 teachers that just earned their CDA. They worked like in a cohort and they were cheering each other on. And I've got 4 more folks that are in the pipeline to get their CDA. And we're looking at maybe the end of April. And I'll have another, that'll be 8 CDA candidates from beginning to end in an 8-week period, which is really usually unheard of. I will caveat with these are not new employees. These are employees that have been here a couple years and have been doing PD right along. And it was just kind of like, let's get this wrapped up. Let's do it. This has been on your individual professional development plan for a little bit. Let's get this wrapped up. And so they did. And they are all revived and rejuvenated. And it really put that positive energy right back into place because everybody was supporting each other, congratulating each other, feeling proud of themselves. I have another director who just jumped back into the TEACH program. She's going to finish her associate's degree, and she did the certificate program, but she's going to finish her associate's degree. And so, so that momentum, that energy, a positive, continued to go. So I'm super excited about that. So, mentoring each other, collaborating together, putting together cohorts. You got to invest in your team and you got to invest in their growth. And when programs do that, they contribute to that feeling of being valued. And really, it enhances job satisfaction, retention, and performance. And you know it, right? So don't just keep using all of your time to put out daily fires. We talked about, reducing turnover. We know that turnover will still happen. I have some wonderful employees. Here's an example again today. This session is really just sparking all the things that are happening right now in my own center because I, like you, run a center and I'm engaged daily with my team. So we do have a staff member who's been with us for 8 years. She is moving on. She is going to a more of a Head Start program. It's federally funded, and she's able to get some benefits and pay scale a little bit higher than I'm able to offer, which is sad and unfortunate because we really, really love her. But also at the same time, we're proud, we're proud of her and we wish her the best. And she's going to continue growing on her journey as an educator. And sometimes that happens, but I feel real confident because she kind of came in as a TA when she first started with us years ago. And she is a lead and she's an amazing lead. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised at her, even moving up further than that at some point in her career, and probably sooner than later. So those are just, some things just off the top of my head. And when you think about positive climates, you sometimes think of organizations like Google or Zappos, they demonstrate tangible benefits for fostering a healthy environment. And those organizations have seen increased innovation, productivity, and employee loyalty. And as a direct result, a positive climate. And so with that, I think, we'll go to some final thoughts. And my final thoughts, I want to end maybe with a statistic. Research shows that organizations with the positive organizational climate see up to 30% higher employee engagement. Now, I don't know about you, but 30% higher employee engagement is amazing. And what would that do for your center if you could really get people to dig in that much more? And also a 20% increased productivity and 50% reduction in turnover rates. Now, those sounds like some really great statistics that I definitely would like to invest in. And I don't know about you, but that's why I spend so much time engaged with my team. So creating this environment isn't just strategic advice. It has measurable business outcomes to help you run your childcare center. So I would like to wrap up with this. If you have not already gotten your tickets to one of the best conferences on the East Coast, you've got 5 weeks left. In just 5 weeks, we're going to be hosting the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. You don't want to miss this amazing deal. Right now we have purchase 1 3-day leadership ticket and get 2 tickets for your teachers. Now they are Saturday tickets for your teachers for the full day conference. Empower your team, elevate your own leadership skills, and foster a positive climate that drives your success. Reserve your spot today. Don't forget to go on over to the website, grab your tickets. And as always, it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. Have a great day.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Child Care Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Child Care Director's Chair.